When you receive our Combi system, it will look something like this. This right here is our cabinet, and over here is our rack, oil draining arm, and our jack. Once you've unwrapped your equipment, you're gonna have your oil arm right here and your jack for your fuel tool head. Once you've unwrapped your cabinet, this is what it will look like. In here you have your fuel tool head with hoses and pneumatics connected. Down here you have your cabinet with tools and hoses to assemble your system, and in this box you have all your bolts to put it all together. Once you've unwrapped your rack, lay it out something like this. Make sure you have all your nuts and bolts and hardware laid out correctly and listed to the list on the owner's manual. Before you assemble it, be sure that the oil arm hose on this post are in the back left corner, and that the inside holes right here, which are for your cabinet to mount on, are facing inward. And on the other rear post, be sure that the two cabinet holes, which are located right here, are facing inward. Now we will play a time-lapse video on how to assemble the racks. Now that the rack is partially built, I have left this beam loose to allow its movement to position the cabinet in place. I have also put these 4 bolts on the outside holes to help us align the legs when building. I have also left the front beam and the bottom beam out of the way to allow us access for the forklift. Now that the cabinet's in place, I have fastened it with the 2 bolts on top and the 2 bolts inside the cabinet. Next step is to fasten down these holsters for the air hammers with the bolts inside the kit. As you tighten them down, you will line up the leg. You will line up the legs. You can now start fastening the front beam and the bottom beam and the bottom of the cabinet, and you can start tightening down the bolts. Inside of the leg there's a thread which allows you to line up the top of the stand with the leg when tightened. Now we're going to fit the oil drain arm, and we're going to start off by putting these 3 bolts through the leg. This will be a 2-man job. The last bolt is the threaded bolt, and it goes into the bottom. Now we're going to connect the pneumatic tubes from the oil drainer arms to the cabinet. We're going to start off by shoving the tubes in the hole. You want them all the way in until the conduit gets to the squeeze connector. You want to tighten the squeeze connector with the Phillips screwdriver. Now that the Combi system is fully built, we're going to start by doing the final commissioning. We're going to start off by taking off the back panel. Now that we got the pneumatic tubes in the cabinet, we're going to start connecting them. We're going to start off by green for coolant, brown tube for oil, and the blue one for air. Now that I have the cabinet open, let me explain to you what everything is inside. This right here is our air booster, which converts any amount of air that's coming into the cabinet to 180 psi. So it gives us a stronger punch for the fuel head. Next is our main regulator, which is connected to a manifold which provides air to all the other regulators controlling all the pumps. It's clean gas, dirty gas, oil, coolant, and aux air. Aux air it provides air to the side of the cabinets, whereas we're going to connect our air hoses for our air tools. Underneath the regulators, there's a valve, and each valve is controlled either from the fuel head or the oil drainer arm. Once the valve is activated, it allows air through the valve to the pump. Now we will unwrap the fuel head and put it on the jack. Now that the head is on the jack, we're going to fasten down these bolts to secure it to the jack, and we're going to bleed it. To bleed it, you want to release the release handle and pump the jack at least 20 times. Now that the jack is bled, to operate it, you want to pump the foot pedal to make it go up, and to bring it back down, you just twist the release handle. Now we are going to put on the sliding tilting blocks, and for that, I'm going to bring in my assistant. When you're putting these tilting blocks on, you want the hook to go under the beam and slide up. Just like that. The sliding blocks are designed to have a smooth surface on one side so the loader doesn't damage the bolts as it comes in loading up the car. On the other side, there's 3 bolts to fasten the plate and keep it in place. The final part is to fasten down this bolt, which you clamp the two sides together to keep the sliding block from getting damaged if it gets hit by a loader. The sliding blocks can get moved to either side to tilt the car to maximize the draining of fluids. Now we're going to set up the coolant and oil draining arm. We're going to start off by putting the coolant spike into its holster and extending the hose and connecting it to the pump. To connect it to the pump, we're going to feed it through this little hole right here. Now inside the pump cabinet, we're going to connect all the hoses, and we're going to start off by connecting the coolant with our JIC fitting. Now we will fit the oil hose to the oil pump, and we're going to feed it through the cabinet. Now we're going to connect the hoses to our oil arms. The one coming from the cabinet goes on the side of the T. And there will be another 4-foot hose that will go from funnel to funnel. Now we're going to put the strainers in the oil funnels. They're made out of 2 parts, a top hat and a dimple strainer. They're made to protect the pump from any large debris and to help you from losing the oil pan plate. Now we're going to screw in the locking screws on the oil arm to keep it from moving on us. Now that we got the locking screws in place, it allows us to lock the oil arm so it doesn't move on us. When you order the air kit and air tools, here's what you get. You get an air chisel, 2 air chisels with 3 choices of tips. We recommend this tip for cutting the shields off of gas tanks. And we recommend this tip for punching a hole inside of transmission pans. Once you put the tip in, you slide it into the holster closest to the gas tank. Connect the hose and run it to the air ports on the side of the cabinet. Every Combi system comes with a set of sockets and a magnetic socket rail. We recommend we put it up here. It also comes with the magnetic tray. It's good for all your tools and your ratchets. When you buy the system with underhook tools, you will get these switches already installed and this bracket for the underhook tools. To install this bracket, you will have to remove these 2 bolts and install them with the bracket on. Now we will be attaching the hoses to the system. There's one hose for oil and one hose for coolant. There's also an option to add windshield washer fluid. For cars like Mercedes and Audis that have the gas tank mounted in the trunk, we also have an additional hose for recovering that gas. This is how you assemble it. First, you install the J-hook that goes on these two bolts, and there will be a JIC 3/4 inch nipple labeled dirty gas. You will just attach your hose to that nipple. And hang your hose on the hook for easy storage. Final part is to fit our top seal on the fuel tool head. It's a little tight, but it will squeeze in. This ensures that there's an airtight seal between the gas tank and the tool. Hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, please give us a call. We speak English and Spanish. We'll be more than happy to walk you through anything you will need.